Hey everybody, it's John back here out on the farm, and I'm working on a little habitat improvement. I had some trees that have been sat at home for up to 3 years, and they're ranging anywhere from 18 inches to 5 or 6 feet, and it's a mix of English white oak, various chestnuts, whether they're Hong Kong, Jersey Gem, or Chinese American hybrid. And I'm in a stretch here. It's about 20 foot wide. It's an erosion control ditch because we're on pretty steep slope here, maybe 4 to 6% slope. And I keep this kind of let it grow up. It's good nesting habitat. But the problem is after the first few good snows, this gets compressed. And parts of these areas are going to turn into switchgrass, which I talked about earlier. But I'm also going to create a hedge. And in this section, it's going to be a hedge of hazelnuts. So I'm going to plant these. I've laid them out. I actually dug the exact number of holes I needed. This one's just small, but you'll see some of them will get big. But it's already sending up 2 branches, which is good. That's what hazelnuts do. They send up multiple stems. Now the puppy's going to help me. No. Don't. He's a lunatic. So we'll get these put in, and then we're going to work on putting cages around them. We're going to go straight to cages. No tubes, especially for hazelnuts. They don't like having their sides pressed against, and it suppresses their growth. I've really noticed that. Walnuts are the same with tree tubes. Chestnuts don't mind tree tubes. Apples don't mind them. We've talked about the pluses and minuses, and there are plenty of pluses and plenty of minuses to both of those. But you got a little bit of a rainy day, and seemed like a good day. I'm off of work today, so I'm going to come out here and get all these planted before they start budding out. They were really wanting to start budding out. You can see actually a little bit of the leaves are coming out, and I was worried if I waited any longer that they wouldn't be as amenable to transplanting. So that's one. Move on down the road, get the next one. These were grown from seed purchased from Burnt Ridge Nursery out of Oregon. I grew Yamhill and Jefferson, but I'll have to be honest, I didn't label these good enough to know which one this one is. I have way less energy than 10 years ago when I was first growing and taking over this property. But you just gotta push yourself through, make yourself do the work, because it's so much fun once you have the plants in the ground and they start producing. This tree is a one tree, even though it looks like it's 2 spots. All of these part of the same tree. Now we're getting into the bigger trees. This tree comes up to here, and I labeled them all, like I said, when they still had leaves last year, so I know for sure what they are. Well, as far as I know their species. I don't know whether it's a Yamhill or Jefferson, but I know this is a hazelnut. Because the bark, it's funny, the oak, hazelnut, and chestnut bark all kind of look similar. Now look at this tree. Can you see that? I'm 6'1". This tree is taller than me. It's 6'6". Beautiful. Lots of worms. That's a good sign. Well, now that we got them planted, we got 1, 2, puppy, no. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 trees. 10 hazelnuts. Now we'll work on getting the cages out and planted up. 15 minutes. I gotta get about 3 more. You having fun? One thing that'll always be true is you'll forget something. If you don't live on the property that you're at, you'll forget something. So, forgot a hammer. So I got a rubber mallet. We'll see how that works out. Love these wire cages. Don't necessarily like cutting them to get them ready, but do love them for things like this. Especially bare root trees that have already gotten going. Just a few years from now, I'll be able to come back and take them off. So we don't really have to worry a lot about the wind resistance of these like we do tubes and making the cages tip over. Again, these are about 36 inches, which make a 12-inch diameter tree cage. Hoping to hear a gobble or two, but maybe I'm talking too much. Well, you've seen me do this before, so I'm going to kill the camera. Just enjoy nature here for a little bit. We'll come back here in a few minutes. These are pretty awesome trees. 3 years plus. Definitely 1.5 inches at the base. Over 6.5 foot tall. If you can see, big old root ball. We'll see how it does. We've got rain off and on for the next couple days. Should be a good watering in. They don't have their full leaves out. They haven't even really started their major bud swell. Put a couple of these near the hunting area. Put some in the orchard. Get a little bit of diversity. All right, get a couple of them put in. Time to put a cage around them. Got our first here at the property. Cornelian cherry dogwood. Genus species is Cornus moss. See that? Pretty. Supposedly it makes a little bit of an edible cherry. Burnt Ridge Cornelian cherry dogwood. Stop. Army, stop. Did they just land here? They're talking, huh? They just landed. That was pretty cool, huh? Army. They just came in and owned this place. April 10th, and it's just a beautiful day. Thought I'd just walk you around, see what we got growing. These are English white oaks entering their 9th year. Produced their first acorns last year. This is a mix of white spruce, Norway spruce, and northern white oak, which is what this is. That was planted 10 years ago. I didn't put it in a cage till this year. It's just been getting pounded. Another English white oak. These should take off this year, now that I finally protected them. It's a sawtooth oak. This was the first year planting this. There were 3 rows here, and I planted regular white oaks and northern white pine, but then it was very apparent that the white oak were struggling, and then I found out about these English white oaks. Look how small that leaf is. Isn't that cool? It's beautiful. Here's a sawtooth oak that was planted 2 springs ago, now tubed up. And I just gave up on certain tubes for certain things. I mean, this is a white pine. It's probably dead. Just didn't protect it soon enough. Just took a beating. Here's another one that's probably going to make it now that it's protected. It's lived a tortured life to start with. But really, these are above deer browse height, but they're not past the size where they're perfect for a buck to rub on. So I'll just keep them in these tubes and just know that a couple of them will be sacrificed every year until they get 4 or 5 inches in diameter. They'll be left alone. So the goal is a row of oaks to connect that more mature forest there with the front ridge here and get some security and food for deer, turkey, grouse. We're just ready before the spring green up. Had 77-degree weather yesterday. It's in the mid-50s today, but still, it's just beautiful out. This little cluster of trees right here that you're looking at, partially tubed, partially caged, is persimmon, American persimmon. They're the latest tree to bud out on my farm. This one snapped in half due to the tube collapsing. So you can see the top of it. So I put it in a cage. And you can see it was partially bent, but it knew to start sending new branches, but I don't know if that's going to make it or not, but I'll give it its best shot. I'll just go over here and take a look. What I've been doing over here in front of the new blind here. The new blind is going to have some major habitat improvements this year. Working on getting a stand of switchgrass and some brushy items out in front to have some more permanent cover. You see there is some cover with multiflora rose, which I don't dislike multiflora rose. This is where I took the dirt to put around the base. Right there. So we have a little bit of a drinking hole here. I'm thinking about digging that out a little deeper, using it as a source for my fathead minnows and raise them there and then bring them over to the main pond as a source for them. Just a combination of crab apples here. You can see everything's just starting to green up. I was telling somebody today, I'm 50. And I was blessed with this property right before I turned 40. So been managing it now for 10 years. Every tree I've planted, I've been grateful for. And it is so satisfying watching them start to fruit. And I was selling some trees today. Jason bought some English white oaks, and he just acquired about 67 acres of land, and now he gets to have the fun that we all get to have on ours. I told him, work a lot in your 40s, because you'll still be able to work in your 50s, but I can tell that the energy level and the get up and go is a little different. But I don't regret a single tree I planted. I planted 10 hazels today, 2 chestnuts, a couple persimmon, and I'm getting ready to jump in the truck with some dogs that smell like skunk because they rolled in a dead skunk, which I have since buried. So, the skunk, yeah, you smell like a skunk. Yeah, you're a skunk. Gross. I hope you guys are having a great day. Hopefully you're getting out in the woods, out in your fields, getting ready for your spring green up. Remember, if you're not growing, guys, you're dying.